You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young. Today, we're talking to a talented designer who makes gorgeous, embellished cashmere sweaters and pillows for pets. Margaret Konecki of The Elegant Hair, I just love that name, will join us in just a moment to tell us about these soft, cuddly, and delicious designs that won't break the bank. We'll be right back after this message from our sponsor.
We'll be right back after a short pause.
Your dog loves going for a walk, but what do you do when the weather just won't cooperate? Your canine companion shouldn't have to come home cold, wet, and uncomfortable. Zippy Dynamics has created a chic, revolutionary, and functional suit that covers your best friend from head to toe. Our apparel is stylish and remarkably protective against all weather.
You and your dog deserve the best, and Zippy Dynamics is here to provide. Visit zippydynamics.com now and receive free shipping on all orders for a limited time. Zippy Dynamics, clothing of a different breed.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young, and today we have with us Margaret Konecki of The Elegant Hair, a designer of beautiful cashmere sweaters and pillows for pets. Welcome, Margaret.
Thank you, Jody.
How are you today? You good?
I am doing great. Very excited
Wonderful.
to chat with you.
Wonderful. I just love your company. I love the name. You make some of the most beautiful cashmere sweaters for pets that I've ever seen. You know, oftentimes what I'll see online or in pet boutiques are those plain, simple cable cashmere sweaters. They're lovely, but they're very simple and straightforward. But yours are so, so special. Tell us about them and what makes them that way.
Thank you, Jody. Okay, well, all of the items that we make are one of a kind. They are handmade by me or by my business partner, Raffi. She's been a seamstress for 30 years, and we love being creative, and we decided to make sweaters that are each one as unique as the pets that are going to be wearing them. So that's how we decorate each one a little bit differently, so no two are the same.
Lovely. Tell us about the materials that you use.
Okay, well, we are using the finest cashmere. Everything we make is made out of 100% cashmere, and we are very selective about the quality of the cashmere that we use. And we repurpose cashmere sweaters into pillows, into sweaters for dogs, for cats, into neck warmers, and scarves even for women. And we also have pillows made out of cashmere and some pillows with matching sweaters to the pillows.
Fantastic. So it's eco-friendly too with repurposing the cashmere. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
You also have these wonderful embellishments that you use. Tell us a little bit about those.
Okay, Raffi and I have both been collectors all our lives. She's been in the seamstress business for over 30 years. She was brought up in Europe and has collected everything she's worked with, never throws anything out, and I'm the same way. So she has beautiful bridal trim, she has trimmings, she's got vintage buttons, she's got beautiful lace, anything you can imagine. And I have been a knitter since I was a little girl, and I've collected beautiful yarns and decorations and buttons and things all my life. And so we have a fabulous collection of embellishments to go on the sweaters.
Oh my God, I would love to rummage through your closet of collectibles. Absolutely. Now, even though these are, the finest cashmeres that you're using and you have these beautiful embellishments, they're all handmade and they're all one of a kind, they don't break the bank. They don't cost a fortune. Tell listeners what these run if they want to get one of their very own.
Okay. Well, typically the plain sweater that does not have embellishments, but they're still beautiful, run around $149. The ones that are decorated can be anywhere from $199 up. We've now started a line of bridal decorations with parts of bridal dresses on the cashmere. They're absolutely exquisite, and they're many hours of hand sewing the lace on. So those will be a little bit more expensive. But I've searched the market, and I've seen sweaters that are plain for over $400.
Me
we wanted
too.
to make something, yeah, it's amazing. But we wanted to make something that was affordable so that more pets could wear them, their owners could afford them, and we could make animals looking good and staying warm.
And they're so cozy. They're so cozy.
They are.
You have a story about how you got involved in doing what you're doing today. But for years, you were, of all things, a podiatrist.
Yes.
What happened to sort of put you on a path to the elegant hair?
Well, actually, was a podiatrist for 30 years, and by a turn of events, I discovered that animals love cashmere. Everybody loves cashmere. Animals.
Exactly.
Right. And one day I came home. I had been wearing a cashmere sweater. Came home to my cat, Sweet Pea, who is a clone of Morris the cat, Red Cat. Took off the sweater and threw it on the bed. And Sweet Pea went over and started kneading his paws in the sweater. Laid down and went to sleep on it for hours. And even though I had other sweaters around the house, after that he seemed to always be gravitating towards the cashmere. So I decided I'm going to make a pillow for him out of the sweater. And from that point on, he just lived on that pillow. So I made several pillows for different spots in the house where he liked to sit, and eventually made them for some of my friends that had cats. And then they started asking me, could I make them as gifts for their friends? And that's how the idea sort of came about. I actually have up on my website a photo of the first picture of Sweet Pea on his gray cashmere pillow, and the picture's worth 1,000 words. When you see him laying on this pillow, you know why every animal loves cashmere.
We are going to have that picture up on the Bark and Swagger page of Pet Life Radio's site so everybody can see exactly where it started and what you're talking about. Then you met Raffi. How did that come together?
Well, I had known her for many years. She used to do alterations for me 20 years ago, and I knew she was the best seamstress in the world. And when I decided that these pillows, everybody wanted these cashmere pillows, I went to her. I knew this was a great idea for business. And I said, Raffi, do you want to go into business with me? This is what we're going to do. She said, absolutely. And that's how the Elegant Hair was born. At the same time, she had adopted a rescue dog. He became our model for all of our sweaters. And he also could not get off the cashmere pillow. We gave him one. So I knew this was going to be something fabulous. And that's how the partnership began in our business.
Fantastic. And what's that little doggy's name?
His name is Rocky, and he's going to have his own blog on the website.
Fantastic.
So he's one of a kind.
He's adorable, too. Is he like a miniature pincher?
He is a miniature pincher, and he loves cashmere. And Raffi will say, Rocky, come here. Mommy wants to try a cashmere sweater on you. He lifts his paws in the air to get the sweater on, and he walks around so proud, and but you'd think he was human. Well, he is human.
He is made to have a blog. He sounds like he's got a lot of personality.
He is wonderful. He's a wonderful. She said there's a reason he walked into her life. She never had a dog, and a year ago they adopted him. They saved him from a hoarder's house that had something like 35 dogs, and she kept saying to me, there's a reason he came into their life, and the Elegant Hair is the reason because he is our mascot.
I love it. I love it. You'll be able to see pictures of Raffi and some of the designs on the Bark and Swagger page of Pet Life Radio, too. So I've seen some of these incredible trims and embellishments on pictures, of these sweaters, which don't do them justice, by the way.
No.
Where do you find, other than the ones that you've collected over the years, I know you have some special haunts that you and maybe you and Raffi go to. Where do you find them?
Well, I first keep in mind we have 30 years of accumulated trimming.
Yes.
So we have a lifetime supply even if we weren't going shopping. I go to every craft store. I go to every vintage store. I go to flea markets. Anywhere I travel, I always seek out the knitting stores. I buy incredible yarn. 20 years ago, I bought buttons that had music on them. Never knew what to do with them. And one of the sweaters I have up is a black cashmere with a white cashmere collar and black and white music buttons. And I have a purple one with an antique jeweled earring with a purple ruffle on it. I found a knitting store last year. I was in Alaska, in the middle of nowhere in Alaska, a knitting store. And I bought hand-dyed yarn. And so I use a lot of that for decorations on the sweaters. There's a process called needle felting where you actually take a needle and you poke the yarns through the sweater and it sets it into the sweater in any design you want. So I use a lot of one-of-a-kind yarns. But we are always hunting. We're always hunting and we're always finding.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Now, you started knitting, because this brings up another question for me.
Mm-hmm.
You started knitting at a very young age. You were like 7 or something, right?
Right.
Okay. So Do you remember, and if you don't, that's fine, but do you remember some of the early things that you did and maybe some of the early pieces that you collected that you still have today in that wonderful room that you have in the house and a little story behind it? Any of those early memories?
Sure. I remember the first day that I learned how to knit. My mother taught me how to knit on wooden needles, which now are coming back again. It was one of these yarns that we got at Woolworth. That store's not even in business anymore. It was every color of the rainbow. And, of course, everything people learned, they learned to make a scarf a straight line. I don't have that item, but I do have things that a few years later that I made, scarves and things. I always was enthralled with knitting and crafts. Then I learned how to crochet. I used to go to baseball games in New York 30 years ago, always knitting at the games. And my sister would say at the end of the game, I'll give you $5 if you could tell me which two teams played. I could never tell her because I was sitting there knitting. I mean, that is my memories of knitting. But I would knit things for my dolls. I would crochet Afghans. You know, I loved the creative.
You were passionate about it, obviously. So
Even
this is wonderful. You came full circle back to your early childhood passion after a career in other things.
Right. I never gave it up. Even through practicing medicine, doing music, I could never go in a car for a ride without having something that I was making. And people that are knitters know that you have 10 projects at one time. And a lot of times we collect yarn without even a project in mind, but we know someday we're going to figure out what to do with it. Yeah. And now that Elegant Hair has arrived, now I know what to do with the thousands of balls of yarn that I've collected. Yeah,
fantastic. Now, you're also making some seasonal sweaters because we are going into the time of year, your time of year, really. Right. Tell us a little bit about those.
Well, we have some beautiful orange, soft as butter cashmere sweaters. We really specialize in small dogs, and we even are making sweaters now for the 2-pound dogs because I don't think there's a big market for that. Oranges and browns, the colors are seasonal. We have beautiful red cashmeres with red and gold trimming along the border. Buttons. We even have a cashmere pillow. We have blue sweaters with silver trim. And like I said, we make each one a little bit different, so you know that you're never going to see another dog wearing what your dog has.
Fantastic.
And
wonderful.
we like that idea. Mm-hmm.
Well, we're very excited because Margaret has been kind enough to make a sweater for Sophie and for Jasper. And Sophie has a very, very chic black and cream sweater with beautiful antique buttons, rhinestone buttons. And Jasper's is a work in progress, so I'll be very excited to put these up so you can see Sophie and Jasper and their sweaters on the site as well. But we are going to take a short break right now. And when we come back, you'll be surprised to learn about another talent Margaret has. So don't go away. We'll be right back.
Sit. Stay. We'll be right back. Right after we kibble a little with our sponsors.
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket. Awesome! Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Hi, I'm Dana Humphrey, also known as the Pet Lady. I travel from coast to coast to pet trade shows and consumer events, from Super Zoo to Global Pet Expo to Intergroom and NAVC, to scout out what the hottest, hippest, and most unique pet products are on the planet, bringing you tips and tricks from top veterinarians, groomers, trainers on how to safely travel and live happily with your pets. You may see me on some morning shows from Fox News to ABC to NBC and other media outlets. The Pet Lady will be in a city near you soon, showing off the latest and greatest tech pet gadgets, cozy comforts, and fab gift ideas for man's and woman's best friend. You can learn more at www.thepetlady.net or connect socially and tweet with me at PetLadyWorld.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's All Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.
Let's talk pets
Let's talk pets
on Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Welcome back. You're listening to Bark and Swagger on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Jody Miller-Young, and we're here with Margaret Konecki of The Elegant Hair. Margaret, you are a woman of many talents. It's obvious. You started knitting at 7 years old, but you were also a child prodigy of sorts when it came to playing the piano and composing music. Tell us about that.
Okay. Well, when I was about 4 years old, I have two sisters. They started playing the piano before me, and I would hear them play, and then I could sit down and play whatever they played. So the teachers didn't really want to give me lessons because they thought I wouldn't practice. But eventually they came around and they decided to give me lessons. And I've been playing since I was 4 years old. I still play the piano every day. Music is my other passion. I guess I have a lot of passions. Knitting, podiatry. But music has always been a very, very big part of my life.
Wonderful. And you also went to music school, the High School of Music and Art, Barnard, etc. You've done a lot in music simultaneously. Tell us a little bit about the different organizations and people that you've composed for.
Well, just to tell you, the school that I went to was the school from the movie Fame. People remember the High School of Music and Arts and Fame. So I went through high school playing the piano. I also played the cello. And I actually started composing when I was 8 years old, and that's something that I still do to this day. Wow. But I had the opportunity years ago to compose music for a marathon that was in Cleveland. It was the Cleveland Repco Marathon. And I got to see 10,000 people running across the finish line to music that I composed. And that inspired me to keep writing for marathons. So then I did the New York Marathon. I'm the first person that ever composed music for the Marine Corps Marathon at their 20th anniversary. They had always had a gunshot off at the race, and I wrote music for them, and that was the first year that they had music back in 1994. And I pick and choose different races that I want to compose music for. I also compose music and anthems for the Relay for Life from the American Cancer Society. And also for the Alzheimer's Association, because all the years that I was in podiatry, I worked with Alzheimer's patients in nursing homes, and I wanted to do something for them.
That's beautiful, Margaret. Yes. You also composed for the 100th anniversary of the Boston Marathon.
Yes, I did.
That's pretty big. And were inducted into a Hall of Fame.
I was inducted into the Hall of Fame for the Cooper River Bridge Run, which is the 8th largest 10K in the United States in Charleston, South Carolina. And I got to go there and watch 40,000 people run to my music. They inducted me into the Hall of Fame and made the music their official theme music. So I go down there every year. If any of you run, it's a wonderful place to go. They also, most of the people actually walk. You don't have to be a runner to do a 10K. It's only 6.2 miles.
Oh, wow.
They get the entire town of Charleston to promote good health and come out and do that event.
That's fantastic. Wonderful, wonderful. Well, we know the Elegant Hair is a new business, and we're all wishing you tons of success, you and Raffi. But word is already spreading about these beautiful designs, and I understand why. They're in a luxury women's boutique in the Hamptons already. And when you and I first met, it was through an event that you participated in at the Algonquin Hotel celebrating the famed cat Matilda. It was her birthday, and I think we did a show about that too on Bark and Swagger. Tell us about that. How did that happen, and what was that like for you? I think you had told me that day that was your first day of business.
Yes, it was. It was my first day in public, I should say. Yes, I was actually invited by Ada Nieves, who was the designer of all the gowns that the cats wore at that event. I had met her through the pet industry maven, Dana Humphrey, and Ada had asked me if it would be okay to have each of the cats that were representing a different Broadway show presented on one of the cashmere pillows that Raffi and I made, and I was honored to be part of it. And I will tell you that for 5 or 6 hours, each of those cats laid perfectly still on those cashmere pillows. They just didn't want to leave.
I saw. First of all, we love Ada. I've interviewed Ada on the show. She is such a talented designer. She does so much in terms of who she actually designs for. Yeah. And the events that she puts on are just phenomenal. And, you know, this event was no no different. It was wonderful. And I saw those kitty cats reclining on these cashmere pillows, and they were very comfy, cozy,
Yes.
and they were very delicious, these pillows. So, yeah, I was really, really happy to have met you at that event, and we've developed a friendship since. And I'm very excited for you because what you are doing is different than what I've seen, and it is very, very high quality, but you don't have to pay those ridiculous prices that I sometimes see for things that are much simpler and things that are not as quite as beautiful as what you're doing. So we wish you tons of luck here at Bark and Swagger. You're welcome. If listeners want to purchase a sweater from The Elegant Hair, where do they go?
Okay, my website is The Elegant Hair. It's TheElegantHare.com, like the rabbit.
Great.
I also have some of my sweaters in a store in the Hamptons called Little Lucy's, and I also have some on the website Sniffly.com with Rich Cordero, who I also met at that event, and he's been wonderful.
Great.
Very
And
helpful with me starting out in business.
Rich is awesome. We love him. He's a great friend in the business too, and he's doing so much. So he's a really good person to know. So where can people see you? I understand that you're going to be at a very big pet fashion show coming up in a couple of months.
I am. I'm going to be at the New York Pet Fashion Show. I believe it's February 12th, right, it's a Thursday. I'm going to have a table there, and I will have lots and lots of my products. So if people want to come and meet me, I would love to meet them. And
Fantastic.
they can see all the different products that we have. And they are beautiful.
We look forward to it. I'm sorry to say we're out of time, Margaret, but thank you so much for joining us today and sharing about your wonderful new company, The Elegant Hair. We're going to keep an eye out for your designs. I know I will. I know I can't wait to see what new pieces you create.
Every day something new. Thank you so much, Jody.
It's my pleasure. Thank you all for listening, and thanks to our producer, Mark Winter, who makes us sound so good. My passion is fashion, so tune in next time to discover the designers, styles, and home decor I love. And don't forget to visit me at barkandswagger.com, where you'll find great fashion, stories, and more. So until next time, when fierce fashion calls, Bark and Swagger.
Let's talk pets every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.